in the house. And Kenyan people, how are you? Hamjambo, habari zenu? I hope you're fine. Tuko hapa to just compare the policing in Jamaica and policing in Kenya. So wagwan, if you come to Jamaica, everything is idle. You can see the policing there is really doing fine. And when we go to Jamaican policing, thing is the reformation that has been brought about by the Prime Minister Holiness, and things are quite great. I wish that Kenyan policing would also transform and rather get into such processes rather than what we are hearing Murkomen emphasizing. So Murkomen in Kenya is emphasizing that the police should be very brutal, ready to shoot at any point. Now, when you announce such information, what you are trying to do is you are creating a gap between the citizens and the police. That is actually what is happening. No matter what happened before, no matter the kind of, the things that some of the young people have done in Kenya, right? There are some past that really document what is happening now. Yeah. So if you look at Murkomen himself, is not clean in terms of what the young people are actually fighting for. You remember the belt, how much it cost? If you can remember, you can drop a comment in my down below in the comment section. Do you remember his watch? How much did he say he bought his watch at? And so many other things. We don't have to go back to that. But actually, what annoys most Kenyans is that we can't even afford a meal a day. We can't afford peace. We can't afford, that order that we feel like around us. Sometimes people steal even anything else. Like the poor people try to even raise chicken and they go. And however much you follow, you won't get it back. We've had incidences of murder that are just happening, and maybe some of them in the hands of the police. And yet, nothing is done. Now, let's just see what he said. Of course, I did another video different, but Murkomen has been addressing young people in Kikuyu, and this is what he had to say. Today. Yeah, here that is the speech he gave. Is it 3 days ago? No, I wanted the one he said just today.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Ask the Doc Life Lessons. I'm your host, Dr. V.
I don't know, these advertisements are just too many sometimes. Welcome on board. I can see one person.
Your Excellency.
If you're coming from Jamaica, wagwan. If you're from Kenya, habari yako. And welcome on board. Let's do this comparison. If you have any comment, feel free to drop your comment. Yeah, so a moment ago, we've had Murkomen addressing young men at Kikuyu, where the police station was torched down. And after watching several videos on what happened in Kenya, I had been triggered by, like 3 weeks ago, I watched a lot of things in Jamaica and on their policing and how they are really fighting crime rate. And I felt like I should do this comparison because it gives me airs to think that our country is being led to the dogs, and CS in terms of interior, issues could really address the country and ignite the police, like justify some actions. However much the young people are not really acting right. Of course, there is history behind it with some people saying that goons were hired by some of the leaders and nothing has been done so far. So let's just look at what he said 4 hours ago. I think we saw him addressing young people somewhere, and that is what I'm looking at. Yeah. 13 hours ago, right? Here it is. Let me bring it on. Of course, those young people are like shouting back, Why is it not playing this video here? Yeah, so of course what I'm saying here is Kenyan policing is very different from Jamaican policing. Now let's get to the interaction of how Jamaica people interact, or rather the police interact with the young people. And this was seen just some days ago, a revolution that is being conducted in Jamaican policing. And let's get to this, guys. Let's just watch this briefly and see how the young people are enjoying really being that in contact with the police and feeling like they should be there. I don't know if in Kenya, young people currently, if you send them to the police, what actually would they tell you? Would they feel very comfortable going near them? That's my question, because all along I grew up just knowing that the police are not good people. And you could even threaten each other by telling each other, polisi ndio huyo, askari anakuja kushika, you know. Like you're playing, you would pick a character of police for someone who is very rough. You could have a situation whereby actually when you think you really have to threaten somebody to run away, you would use the police. You know, just like also at some point we could use doctors. You could say like, nitakupeleka kwa daktari. If a child is really bothering you, namwambia nitakupeleka kwa daktari. That time there was that injection being taken. Now it's no longer the situation, because even if you take the child to hospital, unless otherwise injections are not given much. Now the police in Kenya trigger a lot of aspect in some of us, because now how are people going to really have this closeness if you've never had any police in your family? For example, how would you consider that police are just human beings and you can interact with them, you can even freely go to report? I'm very sure there are so many people who go through situations that they cannot go to the police to report. I've ever heard of a document, a lady saying that she was once raped, and when she went to the police to report, they were laughing at her and saying like, hey, na ulikuwa unatembea saa hizo ukitafuta nini, you know. Like Jamaican people, if we are here, what I'm saying is in Kenya, sometimes you can even fear to see the police. Why? Because when you go to them and report your case, they'll laugh at you. They'll even demand that you pay some money before they can begin any investigation, you know. So the interaction between the citizens in Kenya and the police is a very confusing, complex one. You know, as far as we think that they should maintain law and order, they should keep us safe. Murkomen is really justifying them that without them we could not have the country. Of course, that may be right, but a common citizen cannot understand that. There are common citizens, if you ask them the role of the police, they wouldn't even tell you. They can't. Because they meet with the police during election, and police really treat them like they are nobodies, you know. Some of them, even if you live with them, wherever you do, they want to feel bossy, you know, they will be very reckless. Some of them, you even find them drinking alcohol along the plots, or smoking, or even taking bang and any other hard drugs. And you wonder, this is a whole corporate, this is a whole OCS. And the kind of life they live, very reckless. Some of them changing, exchanging men or women and all that. So you do not even see, in some way, some people will really be hurt to see that their daughters are going to be married by a police, or their sons are marrying a police. Actually, that is the situation in Kenya, if I may say, in my point of view. I'm very sorry if you are a police and you're watching me, but on the ground, if you go to the research, actually that is what you see. Now let's come here and see the Jamaican police and how they interact with the people. I'm going to play various videos just to prove a point here. The reformations or revolution that have happened in Jamaica. Thank you for the likes. I would wish to chat with the people who are really liking my videos and coming to watch. Who are you? Where are you from? Maybe how do you feel about my presentation? I would really be glad to have that. So let's play this video and have you see how the kids are very free with the police in Jamaica. I don't know whether this could be the situation in Kenya. Tell me if you think you're police and this is how you interact with the young people and I'm saying something wrong, just put me off, or rather tell me the right thing. Now let's look at this video, for example, and tell me if in Kenya citizens would be free to give their kids to interact with the police like here.
55 minutes. Okay? So that's almost an hour. They're showing off some of the, other kind of, necessarily want to show because of, YouTube. Here we'll take a look at, it would seem that this is a part of the band division of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, As you can see, it says neighborhood watch building safer communities through collaboration. And a lot of the times you'll see those videos with members of the Jamaica Constable Force in communities having roadside sessions, I guess you could say, where they're singing, playing instruments and so on. So this is where the Jamaica Constabulary Force comes in, where that is concerned. We see over here, seems to be the K9 division. You can see an image right here showing an intimidating looking dog who's considered a police. Right, interesting. And here the Jamaica. This would be.
Hello everyone, my name is
These adverts,
I'm happy to share with you my
really
experience
bore me. Anyway,
Maritime.
so you've just seen the simpler interaction there and the revolution happening in Jamaican policing, with the police actually showing the young people what actually is happening with them, and the kind of processes they go through, the kind of expectations they have of citizens, and all sorts of things. And of course, all this is an effort of a government in Jamaica, and what they're trying to do to ensure that there is law and order. At the same time, the citizens are bonding and collaborating and working to enforce law, bring law and order and commitment, but they are focused towards peace, so that they are not just there to bring down the citizens. Let's look another video that shows us the same before we come to the Kenyan situation, or we can start with the Kenyan situation. The only recent aspect I saw, like the regional deputy police resorted to have dialogue. Let's look at this during the demonstration when the youth were very angry. And by the way, sometimes these youth just want a dialogue. Like if you begin addressing them and they see the key officer, the main officer, ready to listen to them, talk to them, they would be willing to listen, and you may be surprised they'll throw away their stones, they'll be ashamed, they'll be disgraced, and they'll just understand that it's not right to destroy whatever they have to destroy, but it's right to have a dialogue, rather than what we see in Kenya. Now, let's look at the one of the examples that is shown as if it's the best. That was Kisii recently during demonstration. Let's look at this.
Asking for a chance to hold this particular, to commemorate their fallen soldiers who died to this particular day. And you can see there is some who are even here. They are fearless. They are even moving to the police officers, just trying to agitate and show their frustration at the manner with which the police officers are dispersing them. But of course, you can see that the lead of this particular police delegation, the OCS of this particular police station, is engaging the youths in a sober manner, just asking them what is the best way forward to ensure that your rights are heard, to ensure that your voices are heard. At the same time, businesses can continue to go on in this particular town. But also I have to tell you that Kisii has always been on the map, as I had indicated earlier. Kisii has always been on the map. Anytime,
yeah, so guys, that is, as you can see that video, that is one of the situations that recently was quoted as the best endeavor, with the Kisii Deputy Regional Police trying to have a dialogue with the young people when the demonstrations were on. And you can see the people are cool. There's no shooting. The police are moving, but they are talking with them. There is some emotional intelligence here, collaboration, dialogue. This is just what people ask for in Kenya, and they don't get it in most of these police. Most of the police don't just want to use the brain. They don't want to understand how to cool down tempers. Now let's look at the 5 hours threat that our CS of Kenya has thrown out there while in Kiambu. This is that was yesterday, right? Yeah, so this is exactly what he said after the shootings. Let's see what he said. And of course, there is another video while he is in Kikuyu, and he threatens, says that let the police continue shooting. And of course, it's not normal that people would run into a police station and pick, for example, guns and run away with it. And such situations. There was another case of OTC, and people asking, how comes these people are looting and the police were in town and they were not, confronted? And once they go, then they see, we saw Ichungwa saying that he knows all those people are from Muranga and those areas of Mount Kenya, and he's going to use the IDs that were left at the doors to follow the matter. Now let's come to the new order that was relayed here. by Murkomen. That guns are not for decoration, right? I think I'll play like two different very fast, and you can see the difference between Kenya and
100%. Na msiogope wakati mtu ameshakuja
let's hear here.
Police station anataka kuchukua ofisi ya serikali, anataka kuchukua bunduki, anataka kukujia maisha yako, pita na yeye. Hiyo kesi nyingine hiyo mimi ndio nitasimamia. Bora hujatoka hapa ati kwa sababu ya nini umeenda hapa nje kutafuta mtu ya kuua, hapana. Lakini mtu amekuja police station, ametaka amri, anataka bunduki, anataka maisha yako. Bwana, hata kama ni madharau, hata kama mtu anadharau polisi, usikubali upigwe ati wewe umepigwa marungu na wewe ni askari uko na bunduki. Hiyo itakuwa ni bure. Fanya kabisa yenye utaweza. Tutafanya hiyo kesi nyingine baadaye. Tumemenisikia? Yes sir. Yeah, we will defend you, we will support you. We cannot allow our country. Kama sio nyinyi jameni, hii watu wenye wanafanyia nyinyi madharau na kuongea Kiingereza mingi na wanaishi huko Karen, kama sio nyinyi hii nchi ingekuwa kweli. Na hii nchi ikienda, hii Kiingereza mingi watu wanatupatia hapa, haitasaidia hawa.
Yeah, so that is our CS for internal security. If you don't know, that's more common for you. In Kiswahili, he has clearly said that if the police are attacked by anybody from outside, what they have to do, they shoot, you know. Peter na yeye, go. Don't forget about your role as the police. You are trained, and therefore, now that you are trained, use your guns. They are not just decorations for you. Now, if you look at the Jamaican situation, that is not what the police are trying to teach the young people. You know, like a situation where all of us become hooligans. A situation where we believe that guns are supposed to shoot. You know, now whatever he's saying here, remember, it was indicated last week that there are some officials in government who are giving goons, items. A normal young person from their home wouldn't have a gun to go to the streets with, and they wouldn't. Why would you even go for a gun? So there are, of course, people who demonstrated, and they did not have intention of picking any guns anywhere. And we also saw a young person who was shot dead when he was in a gym. We also saw a student, a Form 4 student who was shot dead while moving from school home. I wonder why some head teachers or principals have to restrain with students until such a situations meet them on the road. Yeah, so now remember, Murkomen had also vowed that they'll switch off stations again if they air out whatever has to be done. So you can actually realize that in Kenya, simply the police are being taken back to the times of Moi, our president Arap Moi, when the police were most feared, you know, like, and every one of them was speaking the same language. Iko nini, unaenda wapi, kitambulisho kivan, then ID, you know, that is the kind of police that we knew in Kenya. You will be asked jina lako ni nani, your name and your ID, urefu wako, ufupi, all that. So we had a lot of threats from the police. You know, they could even come. They just think that you are preparing, alcohol in your home, and they come. I remember when we were young, we used to really get a lot of water, and that was for our own consumption and sometimes for the cows. Unfortunately, I don't know whether the police were hooligans or whatever it is. They thought that we normally brew alcohol, and they came. I remember it was almost lunchtime, and they were really interrogating, asking a lot of questions, something we were not even aware of, and we were never even planning to do. And you know, the way they are asking, they even pass, and they are ready to enter the house, and they don't even have any warrant of arrest, you know. And I think many of you in Kenya, if you are here, you have encountered such situations with the police suspecting that you are a goon, suspecting that you are a thief, suspecting that you are after anything wrong, even when you are not, asking you questions that you don't even understand, asking so many questions that you don't know which one to answer and which one not to answer. So that is a situation whereby many people grew up. In fact, some were wishing to go to the police so that they can go and kill, you know. I've ever met someone who said, nilitaka sana kuwa police so that I can revenge on my enemies, I can shoot and kill. Why? Because the Kenyan policing has always been found on this brutality, cruelty, be rough, deal rough with people, don't interact with citizens in a normal way. They drink, like as far as they fight drinking, they fight crime. You find the same people, they are drinking to the worst. Most of the police drink a lot, unless few. I'm not talking about all of them. Most of them also are very rough. The way they want to talk to you, even if they have your date, even if they live on your plot, most people never wanted even them to rent their houses. Why? Because of how rough they are and how careless they are even when they live with you. You will find even their kids are very rough, even when they are playing the kind of games they play with the other kids, they are not normal. And they will always tell you, babangu atakupiga bunduki, such things. You've seen Eric Omondi. Eric Omondi yesterday came about talking to us about the father having been a police and gone through all those stages before he died. And I don't know why he chose not to be in that. He chose the other way, to be a comedian. Of course, he was sharing that he didn't like that line of commitment because of the roughness. Welcome, people. I can see so many people on the line. You are not chatting. You are not also giving comments. You are not giving the likes. Please just humbly I request, kindly give me a like as we go. So let me show another part of transformation expose for Jamaican policing. Here it is.
We're here at the National Arena where we're having one of the staging of our JCF Transformations Expo 2.0, People, Quality and Technology. It's happening here simultaneously in Montego Bay at the Montego Bay Community College. And this expo is our biennial staging. We did it first in 2023. And based on the feedback then, people wanted more. And we have done more in terms of our transformation because JCF is going through a rigorous process of transformation. And every day we're changing, every day we're improving. So we're using this opportunity just to showcase to Jamaica and the rest of the world how is it that the Jamaica Constabulary Force in 2025, the modern force that we are, how is it that we are bringing together our people, our quality and technology, impacting safety and security, has also given us the kind of results that we are seeing in Jamaica here today. I mean, it's a good depiction of our mantra for being a force for good. What we're putting on display, we have over 40 of our formations. And two of our highlights for this expo, the criminal investigation portfolio, as well as our community safety and security department. And the reason for that is that sometimes we see the cases being solved, we get the results in court that we like, but oftentimes we don't showcase the investigators who work tirelessly to ensure that the cases are well put together. How is it that departments, they are using the technology such as the sciences, DNA, ballistic, forensic, so they get an opportunity to see firsthand.
So guys, as we are listening to that, one thing we've heard about Kenyan policing is that technology-wise, they are a bit dragging behind because they have stuck into this, analog process. In the fact that even the Gen Zs are now overcoming them, and it's overwhelming, like if you come to the aspects of some of these reporting aspects, we are supposed to be receiving some of these reports from them. When you come to NIS and let's say DCI in Kenya and IPO and all these branches, we are supposed to have a very transparent system whereby we get the right information when in time, timely. Some of the cases which have to be investigated within very few hours take a long time. Now, you can see the JCF transformation expose for Jamaica telling us how they have gone through that transformation, and you can actually see them practically showing us what is being done there. Now, allegedly for Kenya, situation is quite different. And let me just try to show you something here that you would actually be amazed with, when you look at the Kenyan policing and what exactly we understand by that, like let's see here. Let's see something here. Like, would you be shot when you're raising your hands up? Yeah. That's a question that I would ask. Let me show something here that would be... Yeah, so guys, welcome on board. I can see a lot of people here. And give me the like, subscribe to my channel, give me contributions also, because you understand the topic I'm talking about, especially looking at Jamaican policing. I really love watching Jamaica because it's one of the places that is reforming very fast. Crime was so high in those days in this specific Jamaican, the Caribbean, and when I used to look at the videos, watch some of the videos from there, when you look at the situations of some of the Jamaican singers in reggae, you look at Calypso that time and the current time, you look at the situation of the young people who are not going to school and they were struggling in the streets, the single mothers and all that, you realize that Jamaica had a lot of problems then. But now if you compare to Kenya, it seems we have a way too far to reach them. And that is why I decided to have this comparison, rather reaction that does the two. Thank you. We have about 11 people on board. Give me a like. I would really be happy to have 11 likes adding there to be 14. So guys, give me likes and also subscribe to my channel so that we continue with this comparison that is really important for our own country. So let's look at Kenyan policing. The police. Maybe let's just look at something here. Yeah, so this is a video. Of course, 1 week ago you saw in one situation whereby the police in Kenya had to shoot. Two policemen had to shoot one man that was selling masks, unarmed. And I think everybody saw this video. I'll play it a little bit, but it wouldn't even have been necessary. But I will just have to show it because of the topic I'm handling currently. Yeah, so let's get to it.
Long history of police.
Let's get to it and see there's policing here in Kenya, so that you don't say I'm doing a comparison
People gathered in downtown Nairobi, planning to march to the police headquarters to protest, but that descended into chaos. The peaceful protesters were met by men on motorbikes, armed with whips and batons, who attacked them as they were marching towards the Kenya police headquarters. And then, the most shocking moments, two police officers met Boniface Karaoke, a vendor who was selling surgical masks to demonstrators. One of them slapped him. The other one pointed a rifle on his head and fired from inches away before walking off. Boniface Karaoke.
So, do you see this kind of interaction? And away from this, during these current demonstrations, there are situations whereby the police just had to hit people who are very friendly. Yeah, thank you. 20 people on board. Kindly give me likes. Give me a like, subscribe to my channel, and contribute to the topic of discussion. As I've told you, I always come here to give a critique, a commentary, a comparative analysis just for the better of our nation. Yeah, that's what we do. And if you're from Jamaica, wagwan, and we are very ire, though things are not ire here in Kenya with some challenges here and there. So thank you for the likes. I've seen more, and I would actually urge you to give us more likes. The people on board compared to the likes are not equal, and also subscribe to my channel so that next time I do such a reaction, you will be alert, you will be getting what I'm doing, you will be together with me. You can also support by just sharing the aspects that are trending, because I focus on educational matters, social, political, anything that is rather to there to teach us, to help us improve, and help us see in bigger lens, because I know tomorrow my kid or any other person's kid will be a police. Do we still want them to be hooligans, shooting at anybody, using extra force, lacking the technology that is required in this kind of force? Do we really need that? No, we need to copy from examples of countries like Jamaica, and maybe other nations that have better systems. I've not yet gone through such a research, but I'll be doing such a research to just establish how do the police in other nations work. if not for the gun, what else do they use? That's a very right approach that I would wish the interior, the CS for interior, that is the interior affairs, would handle, rather than resort to telling the police that they should just shoot. Shooting should be the last option. Now let's look at the Commissioner of Police here, and the fact of that Jamaica has really had a lot of success. And let's listen to them as we wait to see maybe our own Commissioner of Police, maybe one of the regions we'll be looking at, and see what is happening here. So thank you guys for the likes. I really request, if you are here, give me a like, please, so that we continue with this discussion. And I'll be so happy, glad that you really helped me today. So let's look at this. For example, the Commissioner of Police, Jamaica,
to the political
sharing
leaders
us.
here tonight.
Let's see here.
You're backing a winning horse. Now don't ease up on the feed. You've invested in excellence. Keep investing. The JCF needs your financial support, and just as important, they need your very public backing. When our leaders back the police, the public back the police, and the cycle of community confidence repeats itself. Their success, sir, is your success. It makes people safe, increases investment in the region. Your backing enables transformation. To the police officers here, JCF has marked its course. Now continue to walk it. Be proud of what you have achieved. Be proud of your plans.
So guys, you see, this is the Commissioner of Police, Jamaica, praising the aspects of Jamaican success in policing. Now let's get back to Kenya, and Murkomen really praising these guys for having achieved in killing various young people who were rioting and throwing stones. That is a funny comparison, right? Very ironical. I'm sorry if maybe you are affected personally in this, you wouldn't find it funny. But that's the situation in Kenya, and we have to show these comparisons just to make you aware of why we are lagging behind, and why I would be talking about such a topic that is not specifically maybe to be addressed by somebody like me. Yeah, let's look at this. I showed you a different, and I'm now showing a different one. Yeah, listen to this.
Hakuna vile tutawacha ati police officer angaike tu peke yake. Na mtaona hiyo maneno ikisonga. Na mjue mko na support yako 100%. Yeah, mngetumia bunduki kupiga hawa asingekuwa na shida kabisa. Si mmesikia hata leo nimetangazia kila mtu kwa Kenya. Si ati ni siri tena. Yeah, nimesema askari atasumbuliwa ati anapelekwa kotini kwa sababu alitumia bunduki kujichunga, ama kuchunga police station, ama kuchunga bunge, ama kuchunga government office, kotini ama wapi. Mtu akijaribu kwanza hawezi, because hatuta cooperate. Yeah, we will not cooperate with anybody.
So guys, I don't think the CS I don't think the CS would be talking full chest if this is not a decision made within the government. I believe that this is something that has been discussed within the government, and even if he's not telling us, you can see he's so confident. He's telling us that regardless of the police shooting as many people as possible, even if they would have shot so many people yesterday, it wouldn't have been a problem, and they would have been defended, And that is the communication our CS does. He doesn't come to address the people and have a dialogue and make them understand why the police are there, what the role of the police is, what the role of the public in security is, what the role of the citizens is in maintaining law and order. If you compare that to the situation I've just shared with you for Jamaica, do you see that comparative difference that really makes me want to show you this kind of situation? Now, I researched into the comparison of Kenya and Jamaican police. And what did I see? I was shown clearly that the Kenya National Police Service in Kenya has the following strength. You may agree or disagree with me, but this is from research, because I normally conduct research before I come to sit here and talk to you. Thank you. I've seen a lot of people on my YouTube channel. Please give me a like and subscribe to my channel, share my video. Yeah, so the strength of the Kenyan National Police Service, one, legal framework, backed by the Constitution 2010, the National Police Service Act, and other laws meant to enhance professionalism and accountability. So, of course, not all of them lack accountability and professionalism. Some of them are. Yeah, to tell you the truth, there is a time I went to a police station after losing my ID, and I found another lady there. She really helped me much. I wish I would remember her name. She really helped me very fast. So I'm not saying not all of them are professional, some are. However, I'll be talking about another example when I'm giving the weakness. We have also been told from the research that we have specialized units in Kenya under the National Police Service. That is the DCI, for example, the Directorate of Criminal Investigations. You know their role, of course, investigating in matters of like murder, things to do with theft, and so many other things, you know. We have Anti-Terror Police Unit, that is ATPU. I don't know if you understand them. These ones whom we send to Haiti, for example, Somalia, and different places. We have the GSU, that is the General Service Unit. Of course, these ones are just all over. And they are fairly capable of handling crime and terrorism, these three groups. Of course, we've had threats of terrorism in Kenya even this year, but it never happened, maybe because these people really worked. So I won't really say that they are not doing it. I'm just simply comparing. Now, the third thing that I found is that technological adoption has been enhanced, like use of digital occurrence books, OBS that is, and that they have body cameras in pilot stages. So it has not been put into place, it's still in pilot stages. Then they have e-police clearance. Maybe if some of you have experienced this, you can share. The other thing is that they have community policing. Of course, Nyumba Kumi, though Nyumba Kumi has been left to just the people within a circle of those people who are living in a place, and it is not very functional currently. Now, what are the strength of the Jamaican JCF? One is that they focus on crime fighting. They are very advanced units such as MOCA, that is the Major Organized Crime and Anti-Corruption Agency that works. They also have the CTOC, Counter-Terrorism and Organized Crime, so they work on it. Of course, you saw robotics recently. I wish I would get that video and show you because I watched it. They also use a lot of technology, of course, I've shown you, than Kenya. Like they have surveillance technology, ballistic systems, and digital crime fighting tools. Unlike you saw our digital aspects, right? Now, they also have international support. Jamaica has international support from US, UK, Canada on intelligence and training. I don't know if Kenya would have such a situation because it seems that we work and we believe in ourselves, but there are some weakness here and there. Now, they also have well-structured oversight, like in the INDECOM, that is the Independent Commission of Investigation, that plays a very strong role in holding officers accountable. Like if an officer shoots someone who was just in a gym, the way we saw in Kitengela case, that officer must be accountable. If a bullet has been used, they should be accountable, right? If they were using a gun in a different place. We've seen a lot of Kenyan police shooting themselves or shooting wives. We saw a case of one in Mombasa. We saw another case, was it in Migori? Yeah, so such cases, these officers should be held accountable, you know, for whatever they do, for whatever their actions. Like, I don't know why most of them are so drunk, you know. Like, I don't know, out of 10 police, how many would be sober? Just tell me the truth, be sincere. Be sincere. How many of them would be sober? Yeah? How many of them would not be smoking, for example? Anyway, because I believe they are civil servants, they should be role models, just the way they tell teachers to be role models. Why should be teachers role models when the police are not role models? For example, in how they behave within the society, in how they talk to people, how they address them, you know. Some of them don't have respect at all. They will be laughing at a woman who is raped, having gone to report that case. They'll be laughing at a man who has been violated or assaulted by the wife. They wouldn't be defending that. They'll be like, wewe ni mwanamume gani? Unakuja kutuambia nini? So that is what they say in Kenya. You go there, you report a rape case. Na ulikuwa umevaaje? Ulikuwa wapi? Na ulikuwa saa ngapi? You know, such stupid questions. That is the experiences we normally have from them. You go to report maybe a child is lost, na wewe ni mama, ulikuwa wapi na unatafuta, na such stupid questions. So they make even people delay to go reporting cases. Instead of reporting, you struggle with some of these problems, and so they are not accountable, most of them, not all. Now let's go to the weaknesses of the Kenyan police, the NIS. The first weakness, if you are here with me, police brutality and corruption. Most of them are very brutal. I've told you, they would even threaten you to tapiga. Yeah, this is where I was telling you that I'll come and give an example. There is a time I went to report a case of a young man who was really terrorizing a lady or a girl that I was living with, a school girl. And when I went to report, I just wanted this person to be made to understand that they have to respect young people, and there is law and order. But do you know what the police was quickly telling me to do? Lipa pesa tumalize hii kitu, like give us some money, let's kill this person. And he was even calling somebody, anaita jicho moja something, tuko wapi, kuna mtu hapa tunafaa tumalize, That is the situation of some of the police. They really quickly want to kill. Like they wouldn't will to reform someone. They quickly want to kill, destroy. Huyo ni nani tumalize yeye, That is the kind of thing they think about. So frequent accusations of extrajudicial killings are there in Kenya. Not today, not last year only, but for many years, They think of killing. That is the first thing that comes in their mind. They use excessive force, When protests are anywhere, when we have a situation where they are needed, they want to use force. Like also I was in a school, given school one time, and a teacher lost her computer, and so they went about reporting the case, and all the teachers who had been there that day on a kind of Saturday were had to be collected. And they were treated like bandits. When they arrived at the station, waliambiwa toa viatu, toa mshipi, weka hapo. So that male teachers, when they came back, explaining the deal, you could laugh at the same time sympathize, and you could think that whoever went to report will never be forgiven by the rest of the and of course up to now there is a division between some teachers and that teacher. Why? Because they felt so humiliated. They were treated like bandits that had come from all the way. I don't want to mention areas in the country or even another country, because they really felt demoralized and mistreated. And of course that is how most police do. Again, there's a time I went to a police after they have arrested somebody, and someone is like, hana madharau, anaongea vibaya, nafaa kufanywa nini, and I was like, hey, come on, short man, what are you trying to say? Because do we arrest people and then you judge them even before you investigate a case? But that is exactly what happens in Kenya. And then we have bribery. A lot of them take bribes. Watakwambia uko na ngapi? The moment they arrest you, they are not interested in taking you to court. They are not interested in maintaining law and order. Most of them just arrest you and they want a bribe. They arrest a vehicle that is full of people, maybe the driver was wrong or the passengers, and they will ask, muna ngapi? Munatoa ngapi? Yeah, they get you in a problem, and they'll ask, you have even been raped. They'll ask you, na uko na ngapi ndio tuanze investigation? Unataka to book hii case, uko na kitu gani? You lose a phone, you've gone to report so that they help you trace, watakwambia na uko na nini? Mafuta. It's like every time the police vehicle does not have oil. So you have to fuel before they go into any case. I don't know where that rule is, because they are just out to take bribes. And of course, we have units that specifically on roads, if you are driving, you have to drop 50 bob. Somewhere there are areas for 100, there are areas for 200, for sure. If you drive in Kenya, carry some money in the pocket, my friend. If you're coming from Jamaica, Wagwan, be sure that you'll carry some money with you in the pocket, because if you're driving, man, you're going to be stopped by a policeman and they're going to ask for something small, kitu kidogo or chai. When you hear of chai, don't give them tea, give them some money. Yeah, some of them you have to really coil it like a cigar and throw it somewhere, and they'll step on it and pick it, shamelessly, and count a day. No wonder there are so many accidents happening here and there. The second weakness of Kenyan police is political interference. Yeah, man. Jamaican in the house, yeah, man. So that's what happens. There is a lot of interference. Like you saw the case that was happening of Ojwang. Those 6 people were finally jailed, including the Talam and all that. But let me tell you, the political interference here would be saving someone who was very, you know, the person who was really behind the killing of Ojwang. Maybe he has been saved. That's what I'm saying. And many Kenyans feel so. Now look at even what is happening currently, like the many people have been shot all over the country. What is happening? Politicians have come out. If you check on my video in Life Saga, you'll see how the in parliament people are arguing, you know. And maybe in one way or another, there are politicians who fight their battles using the police, right? That is why you've heard Gachagua mentioning that there is 101, a unit of 101 formed to really kill and whatever. On the other hand, the police are saying they don't know those who are being used. You've seen people being abducted in Kenya, right? And so there are politicians using them for political interests. We don't know even the case of self-abduction that was claimed in Thika. If it was really there, it means that there is a police being used. So political interests at hand, we find that it weakens the public trust. We don't trust most of the police. Why? Unasema sasa hata huyo nikienda kushtaki, nitasaidiwa kweli. Especially if you are dealing with somebody with money or a politician. If you can remember very well, there was a case of a lady who was saying there's a time she was really violated, her child picked, hidden and something. And she couldn't go report anywhere because she was like, if I go to report, they just call that family. And then she is picked and humiliated, you know. So that political interference is greatly affecting our police system in Kenya. The other thing is poor working conditions. Most of them are lowly paid and they live in very poor houses. And they take long shifts, like working, 24 hours a week. That is too much for them. Yeah. Then we have a weak oversight. When we look at IPOA, guys, you just saw there was an independent group. Is it known as LSK? LSKA, yeah? And there are some other units which were currently after the aspect of Nakuru matters. They were clearly telling us that there is a teething problem that it doesn't really enforce disciplinary measures, and therefore we have people planted. They're coming from the same police force, so they are planted there. They come there as if they are independent, but they are not at all. They are not at all independent. Now, what reforms do we require? 2023 to 2024, there was a push for salary harmonization and improving housing. I hope currently they are better. There is ongoing judicial pressure to disband or reform rogue units, and I hope that will happen. Like have SSU. There is increased investing in training, and of course I hope that training will teach them that they use their brains before they use their emotions, the emotional intelligence. Now let's look at Jamaican case. Which are the weaknesses? Of course, violent crime rates. We have Jamaican people face a lot of violent crime rates because in such a country with a lot of homicide, gang violence, overstretching police, like if you read a lot of books for Jamaica or just watch their documentaries, you will see a lot of young people who have left school, and what they do, they kind of can even young people in primary school can rape another girl, or they can go beating about, and they delinquents in schools. So that high violent rate in Jamaica affects their way of policing. Use of force sometimes. Just like Kenya, some of the Jamaican police have been using extra force, and no wonder they are doing reformation that we've seen. There is also public distrust, just like Kenya, but not too much, because you can see they are now trying so much to relate with the citizens. A long history of abuse has been known in Jamaica, and so some people would really fear the police, especially in poor neighborhoods. Like if you go to the deep slums in Jamaica, people fear the police just like they do in Kenya. But the rate of fear in Kenya is higher than in any other place. Then there is limitation of resources, and we are seeing that Holiness is trying to offer them ICT and all that, especially when you go to the inner city areas. There is understaffing and underfunding. What are the current reforms in Jamaica? We've seen the upgradation of the police stations. The police welfare is also being improved with houses and welfare. We've seen increased focus on community policing and youth outreach to reduce the current recruitment. Of course, we saw Holiness talking to the young people, telling them that it's high time you stop gangs, because if you are found, we are going to deal with you. He did not say like CS Murkomen that we have to shoot and kill. There is transformation and implementation unit ongoing in JCF. Of course, I've shown you with the Vision 2030. Now, a great difference. Now, I'll just show you a table that I made here to show that difference before we go on to more videos on the same, guys. Here, I hope you'll see it clearly. That difference, the key difference. Yeah, so that is the difference. I don't know whether you can see the fact of differences of Kenya and Jamaica there. Yeah, so I hope you've seen it, guys. So let's come back to just one more video for comparison of Kenya and Jamaica. And we close the video. I'm so happy that so many people came for me today to just watch my video. And of course, I have still another that I'll be doing after I've rested a bit. Yeah, so let's get to this part here. Yeah, so as we go on, we really urge the families who have lost their beloved ones to mourn, with a lot of strength and hoping that everything will be fine. But also we urge the young people in Kenya to try so much and avoid crime. And in case they really go for demonstration, if they have to go, because I really wish that demonstrations should even stop in Kenya because of the harm they are causing. But I'm hoping also that the police will be sane enough to learn better ways of handling people and maybe opting to dialogue, as we saw in Kisii. Not a lot of things were destroyed there. In fact, there was hardly anything destroyed because of how the regional police there was sensible enough to deal with the situation. And if I can go back to something here, I just wanted to recall, I did watch something very interesting here for Jamaica. I don't know why I can't find it, but I'm hoping I will. Yeah, so let me look at my history here. It will tell me something, but if you have an idea, you can also share on my chat. You can also, yeah, so of course, a lot of people were shot. If you check videos in Kenya, you'll see that there are a lot of people who are shot. Now, some of them were not on the streets, by the way. So let's not be like blame Kenyans and think that all of them are hooligans or goons. Like now Kenyans will be called goons out there. We walk around, you're called goon, how are you? And I'm hoping that that will not be the situation, because that is how the CS is painting Kenyan youth to be, or rather Kenyan at large. And I don't know whether they understand how else it will affect our image out there. Because every time something happens to a country, if you don't talk about it and disillusion and make the world understand what's happening, you may not, at one time, you may not clarify what you meant by what you said. So guys, let's see this video. I wanted to show when Prime Minister Holiness was introducing something new with the police, introducing new ways of policing. I saw something like that. I saw a video that was quite interesting, and I really felt like I should show it here. Oscar Jr. uko aje? Niko poa, we uko aje? You can give me a like, Oscar Jr., as we proceed, because I really have talked, and I'm almost finishing. I just wanted to show something here. So Oscar Jr., nipe like hapo. Niko God. Give me a like. 10 more people. Thank you. I can see the like. There are 10 people watching. Give me likes. I would see that 10. If I see the 10 likes streaming there, I'll be so happy. And I'm just trying to show the policing change in Jamaica, and this is a very small one. I wanted a bigger one here, but I think I like what the Jamaican people are doing, and I would wish that we really move a step there like Kenyans and have this dialogue with the police. You know, like if one day we would have our kids willing to even stand with the police and just have a negotiation, it would be so happy that we don't keep fearing and feeling like they are not good people. Like make even young people understand their role, you know. Let's see at this one here.
Gang warfare. It has nothing to do with it. She's
That is holiness for you if you don't know him, the Prime Minister
like
of
any other
Jamaica.
only to have her life kingdom. Impact of is that it is not only people who are related in the gang activity that is impacted.
So you can see he's talking about gang activity, just talking to the police, making him understand how to handle them, you know. Yeah, and there was something else. I can't get it, and sometimes this happens with us when we are creating content, and you just wanted to show something very interesting, but it can't come for you. But no worries, because when I see it any other day, of course, I'm not restricted not to show it, because that is why I'm here. So guys, when you go back to, let's just see, I want to see one regional commissioner of police addressing regional commissioner addressing the police in Kenya. Then I'll show you the passing out. What vows do they take, for example? Yeah, so let's look at that. Then we'll look at the vows, because we've seen a lot from Jamaica. Of course, because I was trying just to show what is happening here. Here, it's the Kisumu Regional Commissioner was addressing the media here. Not really the people. So let's get here.
Well, you do not have absolute rights to the extent that your right now interferes with the rights of others. There has been a lot of talk for quite some time now in the demonstrations which have taken place in particularly Kisumu, Sia, Migori, Homa Bay, that there will be no election, the rest of people not to participate. But we wanted to reiterate that this right must be protected. Just as we protect your right not to vote, we also protect the right of those who wish to vote, to participate. There is no way you will be around. You will not be around to prevent others from exercising their right.
Yeah, so when you look at the way Kenyan police, for example, talk, it's like they talk their chest up, you know? Authoritarian, right? I can say authoritarian, authoritative. But when we look at the kind of communication that happens in Jamaica, it's kind of collaborative, right? I can see some sort of collaborative, charismatic kind of. There is a lot of charisma there. Yeah, regardless of the kind of environments they work in. But you are free to give your opinion here. That's my opinion. That's my comparison. And thank you for being here with me for almost an hour. And of course, this is a discussion we can't end today. Today I've done that large part of comparison and really tried to show my view, my wish. My wish is that the Kenyan police would just have some sanity and reformation that would make the Kenyans, young people, old and whatever, women, be free with them, you know. I think it's important that now they just come to citizens. They can wear as civilians and maybe go talk to them, make them understand what do they wish them to do. And maybe leaders should also transform, because the problem starts with the leaders. When leaders ignore young people or even old people and the requests we make, when the economy becomes very poor, when inflation is high, frustrated people are the worst people, because some of them do not care about living. They don't see why they should live tomorrow. But if the police would collaborate with them, plus the leaders, and make Kenya a better place, we would be really, really happy. Give me a like before you go. Give me a like before you go. And I will just be playing my song here. I composed some song here. I'll be playing it as we come to the end of our presentation today. So let me find my song that I just had composed in relation to what has just passed, and we come to the end of this presentation. Listen to this song as you go.
Wake up every day with empty plates, dreams buried deep beneath heavy weights. Mama hustles hard, but the price inflates. Still the taxes rise and the rent don't wait. Guns on the street, blue uniforms patrol, shoot to kill, no warning, that's how they roll. Youth dying young, no justice, no soul. Then they preach peace while they dig a deeper hole. Where's the leader we elected, where's the care? He flies high, but we breathe broken air. Gas gone up, unblaze a prayer. Freedom's flying, but they act unaware. Tumechoka, hatunyamazitena. Kujichumaisha ni shida kila pembe. Tumechoka, hatuwezi vumilia. Kenya yetu si yao, ni ya wananchi pia. We're tired, we won't stay silent anymore. Taxes high, life is hard in every corner. We're tired, we can't endure it anymore. Kenya isn't theirs alone, it's the people's too. Cameras flash when the promises fly, but the truth dies slow while the poor just cry. They build empires off the people's pain, dictating laws just to tighten chains. Speak up, you're beaten or disappear. March in the streets and they shoot out of fear. They forgot it's the people who put them there. Now they rule like kings and they never care. We're not just numbers in a broken poll. We're souls with stories, we want control. Not puppets to dance to a heartless goal. This is our land and we want it whole. Tumechoka, hatunyamazitena. Kujichumaisha ni shida kila pembe. Tumechoka, hatuwezi vumilia. Kenya yetu si yao, ni ya wananchi pia. Justice for the fallen, food for the hungry, freedom for the youth. Power to the people, to the people. Freedom is our right. Tumechoka, tutasimama. Kenya yetu tutakomboa.
Yeah, so let's end at that, guys. Let's end at that. Adios. Let's meet next time. Give me a like as you go, and we can meet in another reaction. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye.
Unavaa kama cheese.